You are the light for the whole world. God is not a secret to be kept. We are going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. And who would light a lamp and then hide it in an obscure place? It's placed where everyone in the house can benefit from its light. So shine, don't hide your light. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good deeds and moral excellence, and recognize, honor, and glorify your Father who is in heaven. By opening up to others, you prompt people to open up with God, this generous Father in heaven. To be light, you must seek first the kingdom of God. Hello you, welcome back to your favorite podcast. This is Lightway. If you're hearing my voice for the very first time or seeing my face for the very first time, my name is Chiamaka. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I always like to do this at the beginning of the podcast because once I get into it, there really isn't no stopping, and I always tend to forget, and it starts to look like I don't want you to subscribe. So I do want you to subscribe. So please subscribe. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So we are back, and today this episode might be a bit, short and direct, and because when I was preparing it, I was like, how do I want to communicate this to the people? Not because I don't know how to, but I was trying to make it long. But I was like, you know what? There's no point in making it long, right? Let me just talk about it the way I want to talk about it. And it's about love. So I started off, when I was preparing this, I started off talking about love. How to love. First Corinthians, sorry, I always like to read my scriptures first. So 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1 says, if I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. So initially, the direction for this episode was to talk about love, loving people, that offense will come. When offense comes, how to navigate it, and make sure that your heart is in the right place, how to forgive, how to have boundaries and all of that. And just as I was preparing it, something just came to my head that why don't I flip it, rather than talking about how to love others, let's talk about loving ourselves. Because scripture says love your neighbor as yourself, and you need to know how to love yourself first in order to love others. I don't know if you stay with me. It says love your neighbor as yourself, so it means the way you love your neighbor is how you love yourself. So my question is, do you love yourself? Because you can't give what you don't have. If you're not able to love yourself, it means that you're probably loving your neighbor the wrong way. You may think that you're loving your neighbor the right way, but you're actually loving your neighbor the wrong way. And I think loving yourself is such an important thing for you to do, not because, it's a commandment. I mean, apart from it being a commandment, or, apart from that, you're a human being, and you are the only you that will walk on this earth. So there's only going to be one Chiamaka Ovie-Agbani. There's only going to be one of me until, I don't know, Jesus comes and then all of that. So I need to treat myself as important, because I don't have any duplicates. It's just me. With my height, my beauty, my face, what I do, my personality, it's only me. And that applies to you as well. It's only you. So to love other people or to love your neighbors, you need to know how to love yourself. What are the things you love? What are the things you like doing? What triggers you? What annoys you? What's your favorite food? I remember is it primary school now, secondary? I think secondary school. I remember in secondary school, we were preparing for, we're preparing for the end of the year party, and people are doing choreography, people are planning debates, whatever it is. And we were seated in a hall, and someone asked, "What's your favorite food?" And everyone, was saying, "Oh, jollof rice, fried rice, this rice, that rice, this one, rice, rice, rice." And I said, "I love swallow." I said my favorite food is swallow. And I have always said that my favorite food is, even till today, my favorite food. If you give me swallow, I can eat swallow morning, afternoon, night. Any kind of swallow, apart from semo. I feel like semo is, you have to be a cultist for you to love semo. I don't like semo. But I've always said that my favorite food is swallow. Always said it. And I don't know why it's swallow. I don't know why I said it at the time, but I know now. Swallow is just amazing. The variety you get with the different soups, and just it's 10 over 10. And I knew that from a very young age that I love swallow. So when I met my husband and he asked me what's my favorite food, swallow. So now he knows that if I'm tired or I'm stressed, he doesn't have to think too much. Or what food can I get? Just buy me swallow. Buy me amala. Just buy me amala. Or buy me fufu and something. And soup. I will eat it. I'm not even very picky with soup. I'm okay with any kind of soup. Right? And he's able to love me. So when something happens and I just come home and I see amala, I feel so relaxed. Now he's able to love me the way I want to be loved, because I know myself. I know myself, and I know what I like, and I know what I love. I feel like sometimes the things that we accept sometimes is because we don't love ourselves. We accept some certain behavior, we accept some certain attitude, some certain type of treatment because we actually don't love ourselves. Now, and this is to exempt trauma response. Now, I'm not talking about if you have a traumatic response to something. That's a different conversation. I'm saying you don't have a traumatic response to anything. Nothing traumatic has happened to you, but you as a person, you just accept things that are harmful to you, but you just accept it. It's because you don't know yourself and you don't love yourself. Because if you love, so I'm getting ahead of myself, but if you love yourself, there are certain things that you would not allow, but you can smell it from a mile away that this smells a whole lot like disrespect. So no, I'm not going to put myself in that position, and you walk away. If you love yourself, you can smell that this smells like emotional manipulation, and this triggers me to the core, so I'm going to take myself out of this. If you know yourself and you love yourself, you know that late night outings, they don't work for me. I'm always anxious, I'm always tired the next day, so let's not do that. But you have to know yourself, and you have to, most important, love yourself, because you're the only you that will walk on this earth. And in loving yourself, you have to discover yourself. I think we breeze through life, we breeze through certain things, and we don't take time to sit down and ask ourselves why. I do this thing, well, I've started doing it monthly now, but I usually would do it like quarterly or maybe bi-monthly, or it wasn't really planned. It would just be I just need to introspect. So I do this thing where I introspect and I sit with myself and ask myself certain questions. And the most important question I ask myself is why? Why did I respond like that? Why did that message make me feel that way? Why did I see that person and I had a knot in my stomach? I always ask myself why. And I do that so that I know I can discover myself, and I know the things that are probably triggers for me that I've never even thought about, or I know how to better respond in situations. I used to be the kind of person that when I see a message or when someone says something to me, I would just talk. I will not think. I will just respond like that, as with the in the height of the emotions. I will just talk. And I've learned both the easy way and the hard way that it has never paid me in any way. So what I usually would do is I will pause. Oh, I thank God for the pause. I bless the name of the Lord for the pause. Even recently, I did not pause. I saw one very annoying, ridiculous message, and I just responded immediately. And I was like, no, that was not what I wanted to send. So I just edited it quickly. But it's not like I edited plenty. I just removed the last parts and I left the message like that, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, this is a much better response. But how am I able to discover this thing about myself? Is because I actually take time out to introspect and ask myself certain questions. Because I love me and I want to give the world a better version of myself. I don't want to be that person that everybody says, oh, she's rude. Everybody is saying that she's rude, and she herself has not realized that she's rude. There has to be a problem. I don't want to be the person that everybody's always saying she's leave her, that's her attitude, that's that. No. Like if something is said about me twice, I should be able to work on it and ask myself, why am I behaving like this, or why am I responding like this? If someone always tells me, oh, you're always giving a defensive response, I beg, don't worry. I need to ask myself, why am I always giving a defensive response? I should not just breeze through it and say, oh, that's your own opinion, that's not me. Maybe that is you. If a couple of people have said to you over time that you always give a rude response, you should actually just take time out to sit down and ask yourself, what exactly is even rude about this my response? Okay, let me even check all these my responses. Oh, is this what they mean by rude? Okay, let me try. But you can't just be self-absorbed and say, no, they are the problem. I don't think so. You also are the problem. So you also need to take time out to ask yourself certain questions. I remember when my frontal lobe developed. I really thank God that because introspection has helped me a lot. So even when my frontal lobe developed, I wasn't so shocked at the things that I had done or the decisions that I had made and all of that. If you don't know what frontal lobe is basically when science says that when you, as a woman, when you get to the age of 25, your frontal lobe would develop, and then you have a heightened sense of awareness, and you just know better. And I remember when I realized that mine has developed, I was like, it was like I woke up and I was a new person, and I looked around me, I was like, why did I make this decision? Why did I do this? And I said, this is amazing. And that's when I started taking introspection even more seriously, because I could see how it had helped me in the past, and how now that my frontal lobe has developed, yes, I can definitely do more and do better. And I'm saying this to say that love yourself. And if you love yourself, you will take time out to develop yourself, because the world needs to see a better version of you. Yes, we're all in raw, crude form, but the responsibility is on us to develop ourselves and be a better human being. If for the last 10 years they've known you to have anger problem, you still cannot be having anger problem. It means you don't love yourself. It means you're dwelling in the anger and you're happy with it. If you don't know how to manage people, you keep saying, I used to say that I'm not a people's person. I don't like people. I used to say that, I don't like people, I'm not a people's person, blah 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 blah, until I got into leadership, and then I understood that I have to actually care for people and have to relate with these people. So I stopped saying those things. Now, I'm not an extrovert. I'm not the person that you see outside and I'm all bubbly, like I'm in a quiet place, or I'm just somewhere, minding my business and just paying attention and whatnot. But if we engage, I now know how to engage. What did I do differently? I went on YouTube. I went to watch this guy Ving. I can't pronounce his surname, but I just watched him and I learned how to follow up conversations. I learned how to meet somebody new for the first time and get information out of them. I just learned it. Right now, I could have been in my little bubble and say, oh, I'm not an extrovert, I'm an introvert, I don't know how to talk to people, I don't want to talk to people. The people that I'm leading, they will not be able to relate with me on any level. They will not be able to feel free to talk to me. I'll not be able to have a buy-in into their life. So, and they are serving, so how do I get them to show up for service? How do I get them to do things a certain way? Right? So the world actually needs a better version of you, and that better version of you, the responsibility is on you to do better. And it's like it's circle. If you love yourself, you develop yourself. If you develop yourself, it means you love yourself. So unless you're comfortable being in raw form and you just don't want to be a better person, you just want to, I don't want to use that word, you just want to be, I don't think it's good, especially as a Christian, because we need to keep transforming. We there has to be a difference, right? It should be a testimony of, oh, this is how she used to be, but now she's a better person. I've seen it in my life. I've given you guys like how many examples now? Because even when I was writing this thing, I remember I used to, like, I prayed a prayer one day that God help me to love people. Like, I actually want to care about them. When I became a leader, I didn't love my people. I was just leading them like it was an organization. Oh, do this, do that. I drew up cadre of leadership. This is what we need to do. Da 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 da. They were responsive. They were doing the work. But I remember one day during a leaders retreat, we were praying. I think someone brought up the prayer point that we should actually love our people, and now it feels different, right? I'm not just, when I speak to them, I'm concerned for them. I'm concerned about their life. I'm concerned about what they are doing, how their day-to-day activity is, what they're doing in their relationship, what they're doing in their office, what step are they taking, are they paying their tithes? I'm more concerned. Before, it was just a case of come to church on Sunday, go back to your house. Awesome, just shall show up. But now I'm actually more concerned about them. And now I can say, oh, once upon a time, I used to say that I don't love people and I actually didn't love people. But right now, I actually have a heart for these people. And that's so interesting. And that's so beautiful to see. Right? So, long and short is, love yourself. When you love yourself, you'll be able to love other people and treat other people. You'll be able to say, I like this thing, I don't like this thing. Because if you are in an abusive relationship, for example, the people on the outside will see that it's abusive, but you on the inside, you might not see that it's abusive, and that's a problem. That's actually a problem. Because if you love yourself, you should know that nobody should raise his or her hand, because I'm never going to put it to one gender, because these days, his or her hand on you, because you love yourself and you know that, oh no, I deserve better than this. So try new things, try new legal things, please. Hobbies, crocheting, trying to get into pottery, read a book, dancing, swimming. You know, there's just a lot of things that you can do to express that you love yourself. So yes, I know that you're familiar with loving people, loving others, forgiving people, walking in love walk, etc. But for you to be a better version of yourself and to actually love your neighbor, you need to first love yourself. And to love yourself, you need to develop yourself. So yeah, please develop yourself and love yourself. Yes.